Hi, I'm Renee Berthollet. Welcome to Tailoring for the Visual Learner. Today, we're going to talk about drafting. Drafting a pattern from a series of measurements is a precise task that can often seem overwhelming to the beginner. It's very similar to the same type of drafting that engineers and architects are familiar with. In the blog English Cut, Thomas Mahone says that when you are taught this for the first time, it can often feel like you're studying nuclear physics rather than pattern drafting. So don't get too frustrated if you don't get it right the first time. It's not going to fit perfectly until you have the chance to fit it in 3 dimensions. To get started, you'll need a sharp pencil, your tailor square, a variform ruler, a clear plastic ruler, your drafting instructions, some heavy craft paper, and the measurements of your model. Some drafts will build a sleeker, more fitted and curvy garment, while others can be a little bit boxy. You'll have to experiment with different drafts to know which one is right for your model. I've chosen to work from the Poulin vest draft, as it has truly stood the test of time. Before we get started though, let's go over a few rules. One frequent mistake is misinterpreting the term chest scale. Chest scale is equal to 1/2 of the chest measurement, since you're only drafting for 1/2 of the body, from center front to center back. The tailor square will help you find additional fractions of the chest measurement by doing the math for you. If the directions ask for 1/3 of chest scale 18, just go to the 3rd section on the long arm of the square and find 18. From 18 to the corner is your measurement, no math required. Now we're ready to get started. Remember to make long lines and beautiful curves. Be sure to create right angles wherever your seams intersect. Otherwise, you will end up with a point or indent at their intersection. The arm's eye should look like a lazy, lopsided U. When you're done with the draft, double-check this curve at the shoulder seam to make sure the curve is continuous through the seam. The number and shape of the pockets are style choices. Increase the angle for a more stylized look. The bottom of the vest is also a style line, but the length at the side seam should be enough to cover the waistband of the trousers. In drafts created prior to the 1970s, a 1/4 inch of seam allowance is included on all edges. Remove this seam allowance for an accurate fit, and you'll add an appropriate amount of seam allowance when you cut. There are a few points on the draft that might get confusing. For instance, Poulin leaves out the instruction to finish the center back seam by continuing straight down from A. Don't leave out this line. The back darts are a little arbitrary. If you like, you can just thread mark their placement and pinch them out in the fitting. Poulin gives no instructions for point 18, but a good place is 3/8 of an inch down and a 1/4 inch to the left of where it crosses line 6H. Trace your pattern onto a new sheet of craft paper to maintain your master pattern. This will help you to keep track of changes after fittings. Remember to trace on the new line you created when you removed the 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now your vest draft is complete. If you can draft the vest, you can certainly draft the trousers. For trouser drafts, I recommend Kawashima's Fundamentals of Men's Fashion Design because the draft is fairly easy to follow and usually results in an outstanding fit. The book also provides ways to alter the trouser sloper for different design lines and silhouettes. Before you cut out these pattern pieces, however, make sure you indicate where the straight of grain is so that you know how to lay them out on your fabric. Usually, the straight of grain follows the original line of your draft. This line will be parallel to the selvage or long finished edge of your fabric. Go ahead and carefully cut out your pattern pieces. Avoid making any jagged edges with your scissors. The next step is to get this cut out of muslin. Make sure to use a heavy muslin and give yourself an inch of seam allowance all the way around. So, let's get ready for that first fitting.